Hey, that's more like it. A Vancouver Canucks regulation loss. But this one was actually filled with some pretty fun moments. Yeah, we couldn't let the Canucks get too high and mighty with a win the other day. They probably didn't have it in their best interests to get multiple wins in a row. But on this day, Saturday night, we're in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. The Vancouver Canucks have lost to the Seattle Kraken 5-2. And honestly, there were a number of moments where the Vancouver Canucks did have some momentum, but at the end of the day, Seattle was able to capitalize on some pretty good rushes and some good passing plays out in front. In fact, I wanted to say it's kind of funny the fact that you had Bobby McMann score multiple goals in this one, and you had Jared McCann, who got things started on the board 1-0. It's McMann and McCann getting things done for the Seattle Kraken. A Kraken team that is, by the way, now just 1 point out of a playoff spot. Yeah, the Kraken gotta be thanking the Canucks for contributing to the cause here and helping this team down south on I-5 to actually making it to the dance. Who knows if they'll be able to catch San Jose and Utah by the time the season is over. But let's dive into this hockey game right here. We've got 7 goals to go through and a bunch of other moments that did not actually result in goals. Starting things out 1-0. As we had mentioned, Jared McCann, just 4 minutes into the frame, he ends up getting a pass out in front, in the slot, in the hash marks. He grips it, he rips it, he fires it on goal. You will notice this pattern for the Seattle Kraken against Nikita Tolopilo and the Canucks. Centering passes, one-timers, big plays where the Canucks are unable to knock away the pass. It started out 1-0 Seattle, but then quickly became 1-1, courtesy of Vancouver Canucks homegrown forward Evander Kane, who found himself on a nice little breakaway and tucked it backhand upstairs on Philipp Grubauer. It's a 1-1 goal assisted by Drew O'Connor and Zeev Bouillon. So there you go. That's one of Vancouver's top goal scorers in O'Connor getting involved in the assist category, and the primary defenseman asset coming back for Quinn Hughes. However, give it a few minutes after that, and Bobby McMann on the power play ends up getting just a really unlucky goal for Nikita Tolopilo to give up. McMann just kind of takes his time cutting across into the offensive zone. He tries to center it for Shane Wright, but it misses Wright entirely. It just ends up on goal, and it slides underneath the pad of Tolopilo. Tolopilo ends up kind of stopping awkwardly in the net itself, and by the time he lifts his leg, the puck is already there. It's kind of a humorous play, I'm not gonna lie. And that is how the first period ended. Second period, you had yourselves Jamie Oleksiak ripping one home right from the middle of the frame there. He gets the puck in the middle of the ice and just walks in, shoots, and scores. It's 3-1. Bobby McMann then makes it 4-1 in the third period. It's a nice little 3-on-2 rush by Seattle. Backdoor tap-in play from Jordan Eberle. Then you had Matty Beniers just 5 minutes after that, making it 5-1. Again, another one of these plays where Seattle has the puck, throw it out in front, and then Beniers on the doorstep is able to get it by Tolopilo. That's the 5 goals that Seattle ended up scoring, and then in the last 20 seconds you have Marco Rossi, who takes advantage of a really bad Jamie Oleksiak clearing attempt. Philipp Grubauer stopped a breakaway from Liam Ogren, and right in the very next segment, Oleksiak throws it up the middle, and it's onto the stick of Marco Rossi. He buries it, and he makes it 5-2. Add to this, Evander Kane had himself another moment where it looked like he was going to score a goal. He gripped it and ripped it on the left side there, but it went off the post and off the crossbar simultaneously and bounced right into the 5-hole of Grubauer, so he was able to cover it up and let the play die. Evander Kane literally inches away from getting a 2-goal game here tonight. And even though the Canucks technically, you would say they got dominated because a 5-2 win is never really a double-sided affair, I'd say there were a lot of good things from the Vancouver Canucks that you could pay attention to in this one. For one, you had Marco Rossi, who got himself his 8th goal of the season. and who is now up to 4 points in his last 2 games. I'd say that's pretty good for a guy that had missed all the time that he had missed. You could say, oh, he had 3 points in the game against Nashville. Yes, that's true, but 3 points then, 1 point today. Marco Rossi is starting to prove his value. Zeev Buium got an assist as well. Maybe he's not the best offensively, but he's got confidence with the puck and he's able to move things forward. Maybe not necessarily in the same way that Quinn Hughes has been able to do, but Zeev Buium has all the makings to being a number 1 defenseman. Maybe not just like, best defenseman in the league kind of guy like Quinn Hughes is. But Zeev Buium has been looking pretty strong. Liam Ogren, I'd say he had a pretty strong game as well. He's been looking a lot better as the past few weeks have gone on. Just more confidence and more willingness to hold on to the puck and drive things forward. These are the kinds of skills that as long as he keeps on developing, and as long as that killer instinct is always there, Ogren has the tools, he has the frame, he has the body to be able to be an effective top 6 scorer. And even in games like this, where he technically walks away with no points, it still looks like a really good showcase for him. He gets the breakaway, he gets stopped up, but he's hard on the forecheck, and he causes Jamie Oleksiak to throw the puck up the middle and onto the stick of Marco Rossi. I'd say Nikita Tolopilo needed to be better. I mean, obviously he is a rookie goaltender from the AHL, so he's not going to be NHL caliber every single night. But hey, if it contributes to the Canucks tanking, then I'd say there's no problems there. But hey, I'd say for Canucks fans, we gotta keep our eyes out for Marco Rossi here. 3 points against the Predators, 1 point here today. This is a guy that I think can become a very intriguing part of the Canucks top 6 long term. Whether or not that's first-line center, second-line center, or what have you, remains to be seen, but he is still a guy that is worth keeping an eye on. You gotta remember, back when he was drafted in 2020, I said that this guy was gonna be a top center in the National Hockey League. He only went 9th overall to Minnesota because he's small. But other than that, he was the top point producer in the OHL as a draft eligible that year, outscoring Alexis Lafreniere and Cole Perfetti and all the other studs that the CHL had to offer in that time frame. Not saying that he's fully become what he's able to become right now, but he could be showing signs of that. So with all that said, Marco Rossi, last second goal. Vancouver walks out of this one with a 5-2 loss. Evander Kane almost got on the board twice, but he still got a goal on the breakaway, so that was pretty good to see. Seattle is catching up to Utah and San Jose in the NHL Wild Card Western Conference standings. And I guess for Canucks fans, we can just say salute. We're happy to contribute here. Vancouver goes out there and plays their next game against, who do they have next? They have the Florida Panthers on Tuesday. Okay, so they have a few days of a break before getting back up to speed here. We'll see what happens when they play the reigning defending 2-time Stanley Cup champions on Tuesday. But with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Canucks losing to the Kraken? What are your thoughts on Marco Rossi and his point production over here? And how do you feel about Evander Kane missing a very, very beautiful shot? He almost got it to go, but it barely grazed off the arm of Grubauer and off the post. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.